She's from the St. Robert Catholic High School. And Louis Lou? Okay, so Sarah and Louis Lou. Come on up, give them a round of applause. You have to give them a bigger round of applause. They came from the Catholic School Board. Yes, we do. There you go.
Okay. So good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It was fantastic. And I know we're all tired, so we're going to keep it very short. So, we are students from St. Robert's Catholic High School. We're going to figure out how to make the mic stop ringing. Try to tilt it. Try to tilt it.
Is that working? You can't be too close. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
okay.
going to stand here.
We will stay as far away from each other as possible for everyone's happiness here. Yes.
Perfect. So yeah, like we're sort of like magnetic fields and we're like repulsing. Anyways,
So my name is Sarah Zelfin. I am grade 12 at St. Robert Catholic High School alongside with Louis. We specialize in a type of debate called Model United Nations, and Louis will explain what that is. However, we have competed in a variety of tournaments. We also are, I've ran a tournament last year, and he is in partnership with me, and he's running another tournament this year. We've been debating for 5 years now, so we are well versed in Model United Nations, but he will explain what that is.
Okay, I will explain what that is. That is correct. Okay. So essentially what Model United Nations is, it's that it's a simulation of the United Nations. What that means is that students, or I should say delegates, they represent countries in a conference of various sizes. And their goal there is to debate, negotiate, in hopes of drafting a resolution to some current event or real life problem. So we'll give you an example shortly. But what's unique about Model United Nations is that it's a type of debate that takes together all forms of communication. So you have to be able to debate and analyze the problem at hand, you have to be able to negotiate and collaborate with fellow delegates, and you have to be able to actually write a resolution that solves a current issue. So because we're all tired and we don't want to bore you with words, I don't think there's anything better to explain what it is than to actually sort of show you how a debate in the Model United Nations style would look like. So at the beginning of a UN conference, what you have is you have the delegates trying to set the agenda. And what that is, it's before you can even debate on the problem, you have to debate on what problem to debate. And we're going to give you a demonstration of what that is. So let us suppose for a moment, use our imaginations, that I represent Afghanistan. Why Afghanistan? I used a random number generator, and that's the country I got. And Sarah represents
Brazil.
Again, a random number generator.
Random number.
So I want to convince the committee, that's you guys, that the most pressing issue to be debated today is child labor. Okay, so what that means, and she wants to set the agenda to education, whatever that means. So to do that, I would be giving a speech. And speeches in Model United Nations are very impromptu.
So he's going to be giving his speech, and then I'll later be giving you my speech, and we're trying to convince as many people as we can. So whoever you guys feel convinced more, we'll do a poll at the end by the raise of hands. So whoever convinced you more, let us know by the raise of your hands, okay?
Okay, so I'll begin. Thank you, Honorable Chair. Okay, so the delegate of Afghanistan today strongly believes that the international community has failed in a great respect to rectify the failures of the past. And that is why this committee must right now discuss child labor first and foremost as its agenda. So let's first of all give you a substantial analysis of what child labor is. What it is, it's essentially a system where unpaid children work at low-paying jobs, often involuntarily, with poor working conditions. And to qualify as a country with child labor, this would have to be widespread. And so how widespread is it? Well, the scope of this issue is that 1 in 4 children in the world suffers from child labor, essentially. Okay, what does that mean? Well, if we look at where these children are, we see that they are disproportionately in sub-Saharan Africa, in Southeast Asia, in South America, let's say, or in the Middle East. What's the commonality here? The commonality is that these are countries which have suffered from the post-colonial process, right? And the post-colonial process was something that happened in modern United Nations. What that means is that it's the responsibility of this committee right now to rectify that. Child labor is actually one of the leading causes of child illiteracy and why they can't go get an education to begin with. Because if you're forced to make money for your family by working, there is no time left for you to go to school. This is terrible. And as an international community here, we have the duty and the means to stop this. Therefore, the delegate of Afghanistan would like to set the agenda to child labor. Thank you.
So, as a delegate of Brazil, I agree with what the delegate of Afghanistan is saying. However, the reason why all these children are going and working is because they are not in a country or in an environment where they prioritize education. Education, where once it was a privilege, is now a necessity to live. If you can't read, you can't speak, and you can't write, you are denied most jobs. And then you are forced to do the labor in which is put upon you at a young age. Therefore, it is the requirement of the international community to not prioritize just child labor, but in fact education, which will take these children outside of child labor. In the past 10 years, we saw a rise in the lack of literacy in different countries. But all of a sudden, it plateaued. Why did it plateau? It was due to the lack of effort put in by the international community. You see, it's not just about the money we put in that gives the quantity of education, but in fact it is the quality of education. The number of things we have in our classrooms, the number of opportunities we have, giving education not only to children, but those in the teenage years and adult years, so we can influence next generations. We require from you the prioritization and the importance placed on education worldwide. Thank you. So, on a scale, we're going to do a vote of hands. If you believe that we should prioritize child labor, and you guys are the international community, you guys predict the future. Raise your hand up, votes for child labor, for prioritization. We got a couple, yeah, we got a couple hands. All right, if you guys feel for education instead. Yeah, I hear you smiling the entire time. I see you. All right, awesome, guys. So just for the parents or just for anyone going into high school, what you guys want to know about debating or about Model United Nations is that there's a lot of opportunities in high schools for you guys to continue this. And I really implore you guys, go chase after those opportunities, go seek these things out. This is a great example and a great basis of public speaking and competition-wise stuff, because these are the things that will take you for the future. And I've been in, we both have jobs in the past, and he's currently working, and I've had customer service jobs, and I can tell you, one of the most valuable things you guys are learning here today and will take with you in the future is that public speaking. Because if you can't connect to the people around you, you won't ever have that opportunity to succeed in the future. So I really applaud this community right now.
That was a brilliant conclusion.
Thank you. All right, thank you guys.
Oh my goodness, give them a round of applause. Yeah, because what makes it different from a debate?
I'm back. He's not. So the question was, what makes Model United Nations different from debate? Well,
You have 1 minute to answer my question.
I have 1 minute. Well, it's not. But debate is just one part of the Model United Nations process. So in a debate, typically you have 2 or 4 teams. In Model United Nations, you have upwards of 200 delegates, each advocating for their own position. So that's number 1. Number 2, in a debate, you debate on who's right or wrong, and then you stop there. In a Model United Nations conference, you can't. Once the conference debate or the committee debates on the problem, they have to come together and find a conclusion. So those are the two parts. Does that mean that debating skills won't be used? No, but it means that it goes more than that.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Now it makes sense. Thank you so much. Give them another round of applause.